All right. Welcome. So, welcome, Kathy and Steve. We are so excited that you have taken some time to share a part of your story with us. Steve and Kathy, retired missionaries. What I'd love to do is just start off the conversation by you telling us.
Pretty typical marriage with a lot of highs and a lot of lows, a conflict that needed to be resolved, and it would escalate, and there would be long silences.
Yeah,
Hmm.
emotions would get the best. And we started out married 25 years ago, and we were together 24/7 from the very first day we were married. We were best friends. We'd go camping, we'd have great fun. But boy, when the conflict would come, we didn't know how to navigate it.
Sometimes days,
Yeah, in the beginning days, but
and it was mainly me.
yeah, I would be the one chasing after him to, like you said, that you chase after, we got to solve it now. Not understanding he needed a little space. All of the tools that you gave us for me to understand Steve and for him to understand me and what that felt like when he would sit silent, it was abandonment.
And
So,
I just wanted peace, I guess.
oh,
It was the same as almost all marriages. I mean, the enemy knows that where to poke and prod in order to cause division, and that's what he does.
and maybe we weren't as free to share, like, a lot of marriages, they would go and bash their mates, and say they're having struggles. Well, we knew not to bash each other to other people. And so, we just held it in. And
We didn't air our dirty laundry.
yeah, well, we did love and respect a few times and laughed, and it was funny. And then we did a couple other courses by different pastors. And but the practical application, somehow you and Scott were able to be so vulnerable with your practical application. And then with all the other couples that we'd be on Zoom with, they would be vulnerable. And then when there was the women and the men only, even more vulnerable. And you're looking and going, boy, the enemy is duping us all to keep us in conflict. And so it was like this light went on for some reason, just seeing it and hearing how to resolve. And so we'd use your advice to other couples. We'd use it all that week, along with the 24-hour challenge.
The things I learned was that my wife is not looking for solutions. She's looking for compassion. And I became a better listener through it all. And I think that made me a better leader and it made her a better follower.
Yeah. Why don't you expound on that? Because I think if a husband could take away one thing from this conversation, it would be I don't need to try to fix my wife or tell her why she's wrong. What do they need to do, Steve?
It, she wants someone who cares. And there's a saying, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And that in marriage, that is very true because trust is made when there's a knowing that the other person has your best interest at heart.
Yeah. Kathy? The biggest thing is that when I would be emotional and, whatever it was, he before would always take it like it was something he did wrong. That's how he was hearing it. It was something he did wrong. And so there was an immediate defense. And through the course and through the tools that we learned, he saw that no, I wasn't complaining or bashing him. I was just not really knowing what was going on and just having him hug me. That was the thing. I think you need a hug. And he'd just come up and hug me. That was one of the biggest things that changed in our marriage. And I could just feel, no matter what was going on, I could just feel it all just going out my feet like dirty puddles. That hug did so much.
Well, understanding that she wanted understanding, compassion, and understanding. And the communications part was really me asking her, "How can I help you? What can I do to help you?" And that I think that expressing the compassion, it seemed to settle her anxiety, a lot of the time.
That visceral response, it would just calm it.
Yeah. Your nervous systems would begin co-regulating and your peace
Yeah.
help Kathy to find her peace. That's so good.
No, we've kind of gotten over that. And I don't, I really didn't understand it. The change that had taken place in me. She just seemed to be more understanding. And, but I know that, a hug may not work for everybody, but learning your spouse's love language, the thing that fills their tank, I guess, is the thing that really brought us closer together.
And the words of affirmation that we're encouraged to do, for ourselves, building, speaking out loud who we are in Christ, and where we're strong, and not, we don't have to listen to the flesh any longer. And then encouraging our husbands. It's like, cross-cultural, and Steve had never been married before. So he, I was the first, and so, well, this is how a wife is supposed to be. And I'm thinking, he probably just needs some quiet, Asian woman that's going to be quiet and submissive. And I was, I'm matriarchal and in charge. And so I had to, those were, conflicts that we dealt with, the first, I'd say, few years, 5-10 years.
But every marriage has
Yeah.
their differences, and the differences may be different, but the conflicts it's the same.
Like when you had said that when you get excited and trying to, that you raise your voice, and so does Steve. Well, the whole raised voice in the first marriage meant then next was, something destructive or, physical. And so I still have to deal with that visceral response when there's, because he's just louder and I'm quieter. And so he'll start to talk and like in frustration or something, and his voice will get a little higher. And I have to deal with that, because that's my baggage, and he's not mad, and so that was another eye opener.
But that's a communication skill I had to learn, is to quiet my body language and tone of voice and facial expression, it all. I think a lot of people go into marriage counseling thinking that they need to fix their spouse instead of thinking they need to fix themselves. And that's the thing that really I needed to focus on me and my responses, and becoming a better listener and becoming more understanding. And the Lord sets the bar high. I'm supposed to love my wife as Christ loved the church. And the thing is that without the Lord, that's impossible. It just can't be done in the flesh.
And for me, cost was a big thing for me. And I remember you saying, how important is it? The only thing that the cost did, and it was very easily, with all of the options, the only thing that the cost did was I showed value to the program, because I wasn't going to waste that money. We were going to give it all because we made this investment. And so, it's proven that, when you have to pay for something, there's more value attached to it.
And I had that, how much is your marriage worth?
Yeah.
And I did want to finish well. I did not want to finish with an average marriage. I wanted to excel in marriage, because really the person who knows you the best is the person who can accurately say whether you're walking the walk, or just talking the talk. We want to just thank you both for the help.
And being so transparent, like just last week, you were talking about, having conflict, in the car with kids, and how you guys, you explain the conflict that we've all go through and how you walked it through. And so it's like knowing that we never arrive, but we just keep pressing forward, we keep falling forward and picking back ourselves back up. And so your transparency was huge. And one of these days we'd love to talk to you and Scott just about the pastor whole journey. A hard one for us.